Alright, good afternoon everyone. So in today's presentation, I'm going to be going over how AI has affected marketing landscape. I know that a lot of people have asked me, like what happens when AI come out? Does it mean that's going to take over Google? This is going to be talking about how AI will affect business people and entrepreneurs in getting customers and leads for your business. For context, my name is Jin. I've been doing SEO and marketing since I was 14 years old. Right now I'm 25. I've also gotten my company to page one, number one at google.com.sg if you type in digital marketing consultant. So this just shows that I know a thing or two about marketing. Here's the plan for today. Will AI affect my existing marketing? How can I get to number one of ChatGPT? What can I do about it today so that I can increase the likelihood that ChatGPT recommends me over my competitors? So let's get started with the first one. So I want to pose a question to everyone sitting at the table over here. Now, if you were looking for a music teacher, what would you do? So can you maybe share with me, if you were looking for a music teacher, how exactly would you find a music teacher for your child? Okay, so meaning that you'll search it on Google? Okay, so you search it on Google. Now, I think everyone has their own preferences. So I prefer to Google, obviously you do too. My sister prefers Instagram. Some people check on TikTok. Some people now use ChatGPT as a new marketing channel. And the very select few, they're kind of maybe only sign up with companies that they see advertising on train stations, etc. So my point about this is that every single person has their own preferred marketing channel. Can everyone here, sitting down here, agree with that? Okay, so currently, if you're doing social media, Google or whatever, then ChatGPT will basically be kind of a new platform for you to market on. So I think a lot of people here that maybe you have a cold outbound team, maybe you're doing social media ads and you're worried about whether AI will take over it. In my opinion, I think that ChatGPT and AI will be an addition of marketing channels rather than necessarily killing Facebook or Google entirely. So moving on to the second part of today's presentation, how can I get to number one of ChatGPT? To answer this question, let me first pose a question to everyone. Say for example that you're sitting in a room now with 3 people, right? How do we find the most trustworthy person in the room?
You maybe?
Some review?
Yeah.
Okay. So you could definitely look at the reviews that people have, but one approach to do it would be to have everyone go around the room right now and to give a quick introduction about themselves. But then if we go to the next slide over here, what if there were 1 million people in the room right now? Then clearly this approach wouldn't work because it would take too long for us to go overall a person to introduce themselves when there's 1 million people in the room. But this problem is exactly the issue that we face with on the internet, because there are 1 million websites and it would take too long. And so the solution for this is basically we need a voting system, which means that we'll need every single person in this room to, let's say, for example, point to the person that we trust the most. And from there, we can basically see, okay, who gets the most number of votes, who gets the most number of points, and then that person becomes the most trusted person, right? And this concept that I'm sharing over here, I don't think this is anything too revolutionary or unheard of. It's basically how elections in every country is done, where you basically vote for the person that you want to be president, correct?
Correct.
Okay, all right, good. So how is this done on the internet when there are billions of company websites? So for this, there's something called the PageRank algorithm. Now, as a quick show of hands, how many people here are familiar with the PageRank algorithm? Okay, good. So the PageRank algorithm was invented by the co-founder of Google, Larry Page. And he's someone who's highly intelligent. I think that Elon Musk has said that he's one of the most smartest people that he's ever met. And for this case over here, this is exactly why Google ended up beating Yahoo. Because back then when Yahoo was the #1 search engine, they used to rank everything alphabetically. So that's actually why Jeff Bezos called Amazon Amazon, because it starts with letter A, and he wanted Amazon to be the top of the search engine. But obviously that's a very flawed way of recommending companies based on alphabetical order. So right now, Google obviously uses something called the PageRank algorithm, which is saying out of the entire internet of 1 billion websites, which music school gets the most number of PR or the most number of other websites like Wikipedia pointing and citing them as a reliable music school. And so that's basically how PageRank algorithm works today. So how can I get to number one of Google and ChatGPT? This is great information, but how exactly can I take this information that you shared today and operationalize it for my business? I want to use an example. So say that you run a music school in Singapore. So for this case, in order to get PR or to boost your online authority, you basically need to get other piano schools, violin shops. You might need to get music blogs in Singapore because the local area has to be relevant to basically write a post, a PR post about your music school, how it's the best in Singapore, and basically add a link to your website. Both Google and ChatGPT will then see that your music school is like voted as the #1 in Singapore, or as the most trusted or most branded school in Singapore. And therefore, when someone types in like music lessons in Singapore, your school will therefore be shown as page 1 #1. And this applies to both Google and ChatGPT. This over here is a graphic showing like the PageRank algorithm and how it works. So you can think about it as like the red color circle over here, maybe being Wikipedia, since whenever you search for something, it always shows up as like on the top. And this is also how you can kind of see that whichever website that Wikipedia points you the most also gets the most number of authority. So if you're thinking about this, it's not just in terms of the quantity of websites or PR posts that you have done, but it's also in terms of the quality of PR posts that you have done. So for example, if you have the New York Times or CNBC, maybe saying that you're the best music school, that would be a bigger, credibility boost compared to a no-name new website blog that says that you're the best, right? And I want to make one thing clear. So I think I've spoken to different entrepreneurs before, and they've kind of like said to me that, okay, can I just go on Instagram or on Facebook or social media like Reddit and kind of mention my company name, and would that count as a PR post? So the answer for that is no, unfortunately. And the reason is actually very simple. If a lot of people has access to these websites, then the value of getting a PR post done on this website would be very low. So similarly, like Harvard is only Harvard because of how difficult it is to get in. If anyone could get into Harvard, then obviously the value or the authority would be greatly diminished. And so like similarly for this case, it doesn't work on social media websites because it's not exclusive. It's not an exclusive website, meaning that any human being with a Facebook account can obviously add a link or PR to their own company. So it's very diluted. Let me give another example of this. So in Singapore or in the world, anyone can register a .com domain. Anyone can register this. But obviously a .edu website or a .gov website, very difficult to register. You basically have to be a government certified company or the government themselves in order to get such a domain, right? And so if we flip to the next slide over here, most people in Singapore, I think we can agree that Singapore government is known for being, trusted, integrity, service, and all of these benefits. And so for example, if you're able to get a PR post on a .gov.sg website or a .edu.sg website and pointing to your company, then this will therefore transfer the association of trusted government over to your company. And so in order for you to build this brand association, it's not necessarily about the quantity of websites, but it's about making sure that you want to get very difficult to register domains, exclusive websites like Harvard to, for example, point or say that you are actually the best school or best construction company in your local area. Okay, so at the very beginning, I said that I will tell you how AI will affect your existing marketing. I'll tell you how to get on #1 of ChatGPT, and number 3, what you can do today. So I've just covered the first 2 points, and right now I'm going to go for the third point. So what can you do today after watching this presentation? And I want to make it very, very specific and practical for everyone here. So first of all, you would need to reach out to any sort of partners, like business partners that you have or friends, and basically get them to write PR posts for your company. So for example, if you're a music school and you have a friend who owns a moving company, in this case, you basically want to draft an email that looks something along the lines of this over here, asking him if you can contribute an article for his website, something like 5 most difficult things to move, how if you have a piano and you want to move your piano and you want to maybe go for piano lessons, you can come down to our school. There is a chance that when you reach out to these partners, business partners or friends of yours, they may not actually want to assist you. So obviously for this case, you might actually have to buy them coffee or incentivize them in some sort of way. So just to kind of summarize very quickly, number 1, reach out to everyone that you know one by one. Number 2, incentivize them to help you because people don't really help others for free. Number 3, get the PR post written. For this, you can probably use AI like ChatGPT to write the content for you and then pass it through the plagiarism and spun content checks. Number 4, you want to make sure that it is then published on their websites, because a lot of times when you do this amount of work and you send it over to your friend or business partner to post it on their website, they just end up ghosting you. So you need to also make sure to follow up with them until they end up, doing what they promised, right? Okay. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of work. And so to kind of put everything together, the more PR you have, the more authority your business will have, and the higher likelihood you have in getting on page 1 of ChatGPT or Google. And now, I know the next question that everyone here must be thinking, what if I don't have any sort of business partners or friends? Sad face. So in this case, this is actually why it is so important for you to learn to do this. It's because of how difficult it is to get PR done, which is why business is tough. Doing PR is tough. That is what allows you to differentiate yourselves from competitors. Because realistically speaking, if everyone could do PR and get on number one of ChatGPT, then no one would be number one, right? Because there's only one number one position on Google or ChatGPT. So if it were easy, then everyone would be overwhelmed with business. But I think as we all know over here, most people struggle to find customers for their business. So it took me 11 years to build up a large network of websites that we now have access to. So just sharing with everyone today, this strategy and information that I shared today, the PageRank algorithm, is how we got on page one, number one of Google for ourselves. So, this information, I hope that's useful for everyone. And this is also what we help clients that we work with and businesses to get on page one, number one of the websites and companies that you see listed on our portfolio. This is the exact strategy that we use. Thank you very much. Use if useful. And for anyone watching this, if you want, for example, the slides or PowerPoint over here, leave a comment down below since this is recorded on video and someone from our team will send it over to you. Thank you.